I remember sobbing. That one was rough. That one was rough. Hey guys, it's Maggie and I am back today. I am sitting beside my two little caterpillar sanctuaries. Now I've got one monarch chrysalis that is turning dark and I don't know if it's because it's dying or we're about to have a butterfly. I will keep you updated on that because I think it might be a butterfly soon. Oh my gosh. Anyways, I thought it might be an interesting video to talk about some of the embarrassing things that I have experienced over the years with not just having an ostomy, but having a chronic illness in general. There are so many experiences that I've had where something embarrassing happens, and you know how for anybody, you experience something embarrassing and a year later, years later in some cases, it's just a hilarious experience that you want to share with people. And what I've come to realize over the years, because I like to find something funny in everything, you have to laugh about everything or else, you're gonna lose it. I realize though, when I talk to generally healthy people about some of the funny experiences, the funny, embarrassing stuff I've experienced, either their eyes glaze over or they just look at me like, oh my gosh, I feel so bad for you. So, I know that my friends on here with chronic illness can relate to probably at least one of the stories I'm gonna tell. Holly, why are you crying? Is it 'cause I'm talking? You're sick of my voice? Yeah, me too. But I'm gonna talk about some of these stories that, healthy people may not relate to. It's definitely some niche things that we experience being sick people, but I know that some of you guys will relate to them. So years ago, when I was in high school, and I was really just delving into this being sick world, I think it was after my first hospitalization, either then or it was with my ostomy surgery, but I think it was actually after my first hospitalization. I had gotten obstructed, I couldn't eat anything, and I was in the hospital for 2 weeks. I had a PICC line, and then they discovered my stricture. I remember going back to school, and I had to go to the office to give them a note or something. So outside of the office, which was near the cafeteria, and it was like busy, I want to say it was morning and people were coming out of the cafeteria from waiting from, their buses or whatever to go to their classrooms. And I remember stopping outside of the cafeteria doors and I had to put my backpack on the ground so I could root through it to find whatever note I was giving to the office. It was probably like, excuse my absence for the last 2 weeks, I was dying in the hospital kind of note. And so I got down on the ground, opened my backpack, found the note, and I couldn't stand back up. Couldn't for the life of me stand back up because my leg muscles had atrophied and I didn't really realize it. Like I knew I felt weak, but I didn't realize that I could not squat down and then get back up. And I was frozen. I was like kind of squatting on the ground, unable to stand. And I was like, I literally don't know what to do right now. I cannot get up. So I wound up trying to grip onto the wall with my arms to help myself up. Somehow I eventually did it. But I'm thinking like, people are going to wonder why I've been stuck on the ground for 7 years. And it's simply because I cannot stand. My legs are not strong enough to lift my body weight up. And I did not even weigh that much at that point. If you guys think that I'm skinny now, imagine me 30 pounds skinnier. So, now I look back at that, I'm like, oh my God. I think that if that happened to me today, I would be laughing about it. I'd be like, I'm weak. Someone help me. But in high school, when I'm just like first experiencing all of the sick stuff, I was mortified. I was like, people are gonna know. They're gonna know I'm sick. I don't even think anybody noticed. People are just like rushing to their classrooms, walking by me. But In my mind, I thought the whole school was staring at me. So that was one of my first experiences of having something embarrassing, other than like having accidents when I was younger, because Crohn's, we didn't know I was sick yet. But yeah, that was up there. That was rough. Once I really delved into the chronic illness world, though, and I wound up on tube feed, some of you guys know this, for about a year. I had an NG tube that I would place at night and remove it in the morning, because I didn't want people to know that I did tube feeding. So I learned how to do it. My dad and I did it. And something about that formula, if you've had a feeding tube and you've ever tried to drink the formula, it's nasty. It is horrible. Because it's basically like partially digested for you, so it's easier for you to take in. Or digest, I mean. And get nutrients from it. But I remember one night, I don't know what happened with the feeding tube, we would set my IV pole, that's how we hooked my pump onto the thingamabob, the IV pole, and the bag would hang at the top and drain down into it. The old infinity pumps used to beep nonstop. I remember us having to return it so many times because we would just get alarms and there would be no blockage. They've improved. When I worked in the hospital, they definitely improved. But anyways, something happened where I guess maybe the tube got blocked up, but it kept trying to pump, and so the tube became disconnected from my feeding tube, meaning that that formula went all up in my bed, and it left a permanent stain and odor that anytime I had friends over, I was like, they're gonna notice it. They're gonna think that I peed the bed, first of all. But it's just this awful scent, and my dad tried to clean it. He did. Another embarrassing thing, and I don't even think my friends, like Kelsey, I talk about Kelsey a lot because she was probably my number one friend through all this nonsense. But I used to be very sick, obviously. I had obstructions a lot and a bad stricture. I actually had 3 bad strictures. So food did not move through me very well. Anyways, I had a GI doctor, who basically ignored the fact that I was obstructed and tried to constantly have me increase calories. Her motto for me was, eat more calories. I wish I could slap her. Not really, but kind of. And so I would get on little kicks where I'm like, yes, I'm going to eat more. I'm going to gain weight. I'm going to be healthy. And I was so far from healthy at that point. And I remember one night I just forced all my dinner down and ate everything I could, had ice cream, I had dessert. I never wanted dessert. That's probably why I don't have a big sweet tooth now. It's just because of the years that I would feel terrible trying to eat dessert. But I forced everything in, and I remember laying in bed being like, I do not feel good at all. And oh my God, I exploded. I threw up. It seemed like a lot more food than what I took in, on the floor next to my bed. And it bleached the carpet. So there was a bleach mark from my vomit. Basically the rest of the time that I lived at that house. And then after I went to college, my dad, of course, put in new carpets. He's probably thinking I better wait till Maggie's gone because she might throw up again and bleach the new carpet. Oh my God. So anyways, my friend Kelsey would always laugh at me like, oh my God, your carpets are terrible. Because, I would do arts and crafts in there and get glitter on the floor. And I was a messy child. I know that. She had no idea that it was me vomiting and bleaching the carpet. These are the things that only us sick people understand. I also remember just with my ostomy, after I got that in class, one of the first times that it made noise in class, because some people have noisy stomas. I am one of them. It talks. But I've also had people say that theirs never makes noises. And it makes me wonder if it's just like internally how the stoma is placed and if there's any scar tissue around it. I don't know. Mine makes noise, I know that, and I learned that very early on. But in class, I remember it was an English class, and I was chatting with a friend in front of me. He had the desk in front of me, and, you know, then the teacher said, okay, like, let's get started, or whatever. So the class quieted down. And of course, it's always when a room goes silent that your stoma decides, this is the time. This is it. My shining moment. And it started to be so loud. And so I start shuffling papers like a mad woman, to the point where everybody turns and looks at me because I'm shuffling all these papers. And now that I look back at it, I'm probably like, probably should have just let my stoma make the noise. Because everyone thought I was weird for like dramatically shuffling these papers. I mean, I was doing that because I didn't want anybody to hear it. But I'm pretty sure if I had just let my stoma make the noise and let people assume, you know, could have been somebody else in the room, probably would have gotten out of that one okay. Well, you live and learn. Oh well. I also remember for a short time, the ostomy bag that I was using, I forget what brand it was, because I've switched brands so many times. I like to try out products. But anyways, I was trying out some ostomy bag, and there was some problem with it where even after a very short time of wearing it, it would get this like burnt rubber scent. And I don't think that it was my output, or maybe it was my output mixed with whatever was used to make the ostomy bag. It made me so self-conscious because I was like, the whole room, I mean, it wasn't a gross scent, it was just burnt rubber, and I knew it was my ostomy, and I would be like, Dad, are you getting this odor? Like, and he said no. He always said no because I think he was lying. I think he was trying to make me feel better about it, but it was so strong to me. But I also am extremely sensitive to odors and get very, I don't know, I get very nauseated with certain odors, so that's me today. I don't know if I was like that in high school though. But yeah, I was so self-conscious about this that I would spray, you know, Bath and Body Works. Oh, what was it? Sweet Pea. Loved Sweet Pea. I would spray that all over my ostomy to the point where I probably was making the room suffocate with that scent, where I probably should have just let it be, and nobody ever seemed to notice. Here I am, 13 years later, realizing I could have just let it be, and people probably would have noticed less than what I actually did with messing with it, trying to cover up these things. Oh, the things you realize when you're older. Anyways, so that one really bugged me, and then I think we switched brands or something, and that problem resolved with the other brand. I don't know what resolved that, but I was so embarrassed about that odor. I was like, no way. So I tried to use deodorizer as much as possible. Oh my god, I remember. I don't even want to tell this one. There's a couple where I'm like, do I really want to tell this? But to be transparent and share these stories, because I think it's important for people to realize bad stuff happens, but we get through it and we survive. You all know that Zach and I, the first time that I slept over his apartment, my bag leaked in his bed. That one I've told so many times. And his response to it is what made me know that this is it for me. This is the guy I'm marrying. I remember, I don't know what we're doing. We're in his like dorm room, and I hate telling this. My ostomy bag was getting bigger, but like with air. And I had not used deodorizer. And Zach did something where he like picked me up or hugged me. I don't even know what he did, but he popped my bag. I don't know why he's still with me. We had to open up all of the windows. I was mortified. I'm still mortified about that one. There's some that you just don't get over. Yeah, so I've been very diligent about my deodorizer. I have a few bottles I keep in every bathroom because that was a moment where I felt really gross. I really did. And I still kind of feel really gross about it. But if that happened to another patient and I was with them, like I've had that happen when I'm with other ostomy people. And I don't like have a second thought about it. And I don't know if it's just because like it happens, who cares? Or if it's because I have an ostomy and that happened to me. But that one was horrible. Oh my gosh. And then I had another time. An intimate moment. Yeah. Yep. Not going to give too many details. But my bag leaked during an intimate moment. Early on in my ostomy journey, okay? And if that happened today, I wouldn't have a second thought about it. I'd be like, hold up, I gotta go deal with this and then be right back. But at that time, I remember sobbing. That one was rough. And I remember not being able to move and just being so embarrassed because my output was like all over me, well, all over my stomach and my side and on the other person too. And we just grabbed a towel and I was holding it over my leaking ostomy bag and I was like, I can't even move. I can't even do anything about this. I'm so embarrassed. That was like, I went home and I was just so upset about it. Like, how do I recover from this? That one made me really sad, but I wish that Maggie could see 29-year-old Maggie who literally does not care. Like, if my bag leaks on you, get over it. Go get a shower. Like to Zach, if that happened to Zach, go get a shower. You'll be fine. I'll change my bag. You clean up. Like, it's funny. It's funny what happens, but that's just, you know, you have something for so long and it becomes just part of routine, part of life, and you deal with negative things that happen in relation to it. But you survive it. You get over it. And that's exactly what happened to me. And I feel bad for younger Maggie dealing with that. Yeah, I don't know. I also, oh my gosh, there was one near miss, and I think this one would have gotten me too. And I know that this has happened to other people with ostomies. I've had some people like send me their stories, embarrassing moments. This one was a near miss though. I had a drainable ostomy pouch at this point. I think it was a clip. Don't trust a clip. I'm telling you, I've learned the hard way too many times. But anyways, I had just gotten back from class and my ostomy bag was tucked into my pants. And if this had happened in class, I would have dropped out of college, I think, and moved to Alaska. I don't know. Not really, but I would have been totally mortified. Got into my dorm room, untucked my ostomy bag, and the clip apparently was not on there. Splash. All over the floor, which was carpeted, by the way. And I did not have a carpet cleaner at that point. Now I have a carpet cleaner, not for me, but for the dogs. Wonderful. Everybody should have a carpet cleaner. I have never scrubbed a carpet so hard because I didn't want to like lose my security deposit. That was rough. And then I just kept thinking to myself, you are so lucky that this happened alone in your dorm room. And I didn't even have a roommate at that point. I had a single room because, I don't know, they put me by myself. I said I had an ostomy, just make sure whoever my roommate is, is okay with that, and they put me by myself. So there you go. But yeah, that was, I'm so glad that I walked into the room, door closed, splash, but by myself. Oh my goodness. So just know that with whatever chronic illness stuff you have going on, there's probably somebody else who has also experienced it. And I know in your in-person life with people, it's really hard to relate with these stories because chances are you don't know a ton of people that you see often that have experienced these things. But that's why I love that online, you know, it's kind of grown talking about our issues, talking about our health struggles, and you know, I've seen other people post about their embarrassing stories with whatever it is, ostomies, feeding tubes, whatever you have to deal with. So I have been able to relate to so many people online and understand that I am not alone, and we have all made it through. We have all survived the embarrassment that comes along with some of these things. And I also like to remind myself that healthy people experience embarrassing stuff too. It's not just us. So keep that in mind anytime you go through something, you know, a little bit embarrassing with your health routines. A healthy person has probably done something very embarrassing that they constantly think about, and yeah, just keep that in mind. You're not alone, even though a healthy person might not necessarily relate to your ostomy explosion stories. Anyways, guys, I hope that you enjoyed this video, and if you're comfortable, please share your embarrassing stories below, because I know we all have a ton of them. Life's great, right? Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next. Bye, guys.